This is a guide on replacing an LCD panel on Dell XPS 15Z. Since the battery is not easily removable on this laptop, you will have to pay extra attention to not power on the system during disassembly. Never disconnect or reconnect any internal cables when the computer is on, unless specifically advised that it is safe to do so. In this tutorial, we will outline a method to replace the LCD panel on this computer without damaging the thin metal frame which is mounted to the bezel. The thin metal frame is glued on the silicone bezel, and it covers 4 standard Phillips screws which need to be removed in order to gain access to the LCD panel. Tools you will need are a heat gun, a Phillips screwdriver, and a putty knife. We will be heating up the corners of the metal frame in order to expose the mounting screws and to save all original parts for further reuse. Apply the heat to the left top corner of the screen. Then, using a putty knife, carefully pry off the metal frame at least 2 inches each way from the inner corner. You must be extra careful to keep the metal frame straight and not bend it. Separate it just enough to expose the screw on the corner of the bezel, and then remove the screw. Move on to the right corner and repeat the procedure. Make sure to keep the airstream moving away from the screen and separate the frame just enough to pry it off without bending the metal. Remove the right corner screw. Move on to the bottom left corner. Bottom screws are about 1 inch away from the corner, so make sure to separate the metal frame enough to gain access without bending it out of shape. Remove the screw. Then repeat the same steps on the right bottom corner. And remove the final screw. At this point, the entire silicone bezel can be removed. Using a putty knife, separate the bezel from the top left corner and gently move along the edge, unsnapping the bezel from the back cover with your fingers. Now that we have access to the LCD panel, remove 4 mounting screws and put the screen down on the keyboard. Then remove silver tape from the connector and save it for reinstallation. Lift the clear tape and disconnect the video connector. Set the old screen aside. If the new panel does not have any protective film, we recommend lining the keyboard with a cloth or a paper towel. Place the new screen on the keyboard and carefully reconnect the video cable. Both video connector and the plug are very fragile. Please ensure proper alignment before proceeding. Reapply the silver tape to the connector. Then bend out the protective film tabs and reposition the screen upright. Remove the protective film. Replace 4 mounting screws. At this point, you can test the screen. Hit power and wait for the boot up, then hit the power button again to cancel the startup. Go ahead and replace the bezel. Move along the edges, pushing the silicone into its mounting grooves. Because of the pressure applied to the bezel during installation, you may need to use the heat gun to soften the adhesive in order to replace the mounting screws. Carefully bend out the metal frame to expose the mounting hole. Then replace the screw. Make sure the metal frame is not bent or warped by excessive pull. Repeat the procedure for the remaining 3 corners. Then go around the entire bezel again, applying pressure with your fingers on the edges and the metal frame to ensure proper fit and adhesion. And you're done.